Snyder on your staff in L.A.?
Yeah.
How far back does your guys' relationship go? Is that the start of it, or did it go any further?
No, I go, well, working together, yes, but I mean, I've known Quinn for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What have you seen from just his, starting in Utah, had success there?
Yeah.
What have you just seen watching him from afar?
He's a great coach. I mean, he's, very analytical with what he does. It seems like he gets a lot out of his guys. Veteran, seasoned, experienced coach, because not only did he coach in college, coached in an NBA, but he also coached overseas with our good friend Ete Messina, and so to be able to coach overseas at the highest level brings you a different perspective on the game. So he's very experienced.
Like you coached against Jalen, obviously, trying to stop him, and then you see you have a year with him. There's guys like Dyson Daniels and Thompson who think that they're talking about being they can stop him. How do you see him up close, adjusting in game or game to game when somebody tries something that works once?
Jalen's, he's seen it all, and he's very smart, very cerebral, so he takes it all in, and he'll have plenty of counters to a lot of different defenses on his own. But in the same breath, we have to, as a staff, make sure we continue moving him around because we don't want to give him the same dose the entire game. If you give a guy the same dose, if you give a team the same dose the entire game, then they can sit on the coverage and get more comfortable with it as the game goes along. So it's a combination of us helping him and him helping himself.
People often refer to the matchup between coaches, chess matches, especially in between series. Just how do you prepare for what's going to be, what could be a long series? How do you prepare for the unending level of adjustments that's going to come over a series like this?
Just one day at a time. More than anything else, it's my job to make sure we as a group, starting with me, stay present. And, you go through the hypotheticals, but, you can't dwell on them, because if you do, you'll lose focus at what your strengths are. So, you just take it one game at a time, and when you see you need to adjust it with something, you go ahead and do it, but you try to be ready for as much as possible.
I was going to say, when you talk about hypotheticals, how many are we talking? How many do you go through before you say,
There's not a number, it's just a feel, definitely not one or two, but probably no more than 3 to 5, because now it just starts becoming just a bunch of crap out there, so yeah.
You often talk to us about one thing you talk to the players about, which is next play speed.
Yeah.
How have you seen it progress, regress over the year? Like has this team evolved in that way?
We've gotten pretty good, and I think that's a huge thing in the playoffs. One of the areas that we have to make sure we're good at is if there's something that happens with the officials, we can't turn it, because if you just turn and look at the official and do that, bam, they're gone. And a transition dunk can lead to a transition 3 the next play, and now the momentum shifted and they're feeling good, and that can flip a series. So, leaving the referees alone. Not only that, you dunk the ball. If you celebrate too long, boom, they're going the other way and dunking it, and so it negates what you just did. If you turn the ball over, or if your teammate turns the ball over, you can't, boom, right now. It has to happen, and we've talked about it a lot. We'll continue talking about it, because that's something that you definitely don't want to have beat you in any playoff series.
The playoff atmosphere at MSG, and how do you talk to your players about using that the right way, that energy?
I mean, the fans have been fantastic all year. Most of our players have been through a playoffs here in MSG with the fans, so they know what to expect. Like I said, our fans have been great. I watched it on TV last year. You can feel it jumping at you through the TV, and we don't expect anything different.
You said yesterday that you had never had a team that sort of changed both offensively and defensively. You thought you were going to play one way and then changed during the season.
You always evolve throughout the course of the season, but it changed as much as we did on both sides of the ball. We made some pretty sizable changes to our offense and defense throughout the course of the year.
When you have a veteran team like this, is that easy because you figure they're smart guys, they can adjust? Or is it sort of like veteran guys like the way they're doing it and maybe they're going to just figure it out, I don't want to change it?
No, if they probably could have figured it out, because it wasn't like we were playing really bad to start the season. I mean, shoot, we won the cup and we won some big games and all that other stuff. But you know, this is a players' league, and you know, I truly believe there's a guy. I'm a butcher this probably, but there's a guy named Quin Snyder, who was the first African American of a Fortune 500 company, and his definition of leadership, it was real easy. It's to give your group hope while defining reality, and that's what a leader does. And part of giving your group hope is to give them ownership of the process. You know, because when people have ownership of the process, they're probably more engaged, or they want to buy in more. So I'm not going to come in and say, hey, we're going to play our offense this way, we're going to play our defense this way, and you guys are veterans, you adjust and figure it out. No, if I think that it could be a little better, you know, with hearing what they have to say. Now, I can't listen to all 18 guys, but, you know, your top guys, if your top guys have input and they're saying, hey, what about this? Or, you know, I'm not sure about that, then I got to listen and I got to think about making adjustments. And so that's what that's all about. It's more that than their veteran group and they could figure it out, because they could, you know, and as the head coach, they're good enough dudes to where if I said, hey, do this, they're going to do it and do it and do it. But this is a partnership. At the end of the day, though, when you have as many people involved with this, I have to make the decision that's best for everybody. And so at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to make the decision, and I chose to change some things up because I felt it would fit the group better on both sides of the basketball.
They're going to be a little banged up at 5 anyway. Just, you know, this time of year, playoffs, slower, more half-court, defensive oriented. Just how much of an edge is it to have, not just Cap, but a guy like Mitch, you know, in terms of those kind of situations?
Well, you know, you can look at it a couple different ways. I mean, those guys, they're all long, they're all athletic. So is that a quote unquote edge for them? You know, their versatility, is that it? I don't know. I do know that I like our bigs. I like Cat's size. I like his ability to play outside and inside. I like what he brings to the table when you're comparing him to Mitch. Mitch's size, his athleticism, his ability to be a vertical threat, it gives our opponents different looks offensively just by substitution. And so from that standpoint, it's pretty neat. And then, you know, like I said, defensively, they both bring different things to the table. So is it an advantage? I don't know, you know, at the end of the day. But I do know that those two guys are different, and I like to have diversity within our team, especially within the same position.
All right, we'll do two more. One, Mike, you guys have been a really strong four-quarter team, and in clutch situations, Josh was just talking about how, like, if you do it for the first 36, you might not need to for the last 12. I guess what's the balance of knowing that you're a strong four-quarter team with, like, the desire to do that earlier?
It's just the hunger to want to be as perfect as you can, and I think in anybody, in any profession, wants that to occur, because usually you have a lot of really high level. When you're talking about the highest of high levels, which the NBA is, when you're talking about basketball, you have a lot of great players, but usually what separates the great from the elite is one word: consistency. And so if you could be consistent for 48 minutes instead of fluctuate, you have a better chance of being elite, because you've already shown that you're a great team. But can you do it over 48 instead of over 24 or over 12 or whatever it may be? Because usually the elite ones figure out a way to do whatever they do for a longer period of time than everybody else.
Last one, Mike, with Jalen Brunson last few games against you.
Yeah, no, Jalen's a really, really good player. I mean, he's a great player, and shoot, he's won a lot of awards this year. He's led the charge, and him and Nikhil have led the charge in their resurgence, at the end of the season. So a lot of respect there. In our last game, Josh matched up with him a little bit more than OG, so it's more a team thing than anything else. In this league, it's very hard, especially when you're talking about a great player like Jalen Johnson. It's very hard to stop anybody one-on-one, and so your team defense has to be on point, and you just have to make guys work. And if you make them work, you hope the basketball gods are in your favor a little bit, and they end up missing some shots as well.